My name is Elena Cross. I am 29 years old. Last night at my cousin's wedding, she took the microphone, pointed at me in front of everyone and said, "Some people just come here for free food." People laughed. Loud. Some even clapped. I stood there in my simple dress, holding a small gift, feeling every eye on me. I didn't say a word. I didn't move. I just stood there in silence. But then someone from the front row slowly stood up and said, "You have no idea who she is." And just like that, everything changed. Before I tell you what really happened, please like and subscribe to the channel and comment your country below. Now let's begin. The music was soft. Warm lights filled the hall. People were smiling, laughing, celebrating. It was a perfect wedding. My cousin's wedding. Everything looked expensive. Perfect flowers. Perfect tables. Perfect guests. I stood near the back, away from everyone, holding a glass I didn't drink from. No one came to talk to me. No one even noticed me. And honestly, I was used to that. It had been years since I last saw this side of the family. Years since the day they made it clear I didn't belong. So why did I come? I asked myself that question again and again. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I wanted to see if they had changed. But deep down, I think I already knew the answer. Nothing had changed. To them, I was still the same girl. The poor one. The forgotten one. I wasn't always quiet. There was a time when I tried to fit in. Tried to be enough. I was 15 when everything shifted. My dad lost his job. Everything changed overnight. We moved into a small house. No more nice clothes. No more family gatherings. Slowly, people stopped inviting us. Including them. My cousin. She had everything. Money. Attention. Perfect life. Every time we met, she made sure I felt small. Comments about my clothes. My shoes. My life. First I laughed it off. I thought it didn't matter. But it did. I remember one day clearly. A family dinner. I wore the only nice dress I had. She looked at me and laughed. "You're really wearing that," she said. Everyone heard it. No one stopped her. No one defended me. I smiled like it didn't hurt. But it did. That night I told myself something. I would never beg for their approval again. And then things got worse. My dad got sick. Bills piled up. We struggled. There were days we didn't even know how we would get through the week. I worked small jobs after school. Cleaning. Serving. Anything I could find. People looked at me like I was nothing. And maybe back then I believed it. But something inside me didn't break. I kept going. Years passed. Slowly things started changing. I studied late at night. I worked harder than everyone around me. I failed. Many times. But I kept learning. I kept pushing. Step by step I built something. Quietly. Without telling anyone. No one from my family knew. I never told them. I didn't need to. And now here I was. Standing at her wedding. Watching her live the life she always believed she deserved. The perfect dress. The perfect smile. The perfect life. For a moment I thought about leaving. Just walking out. No one would notice. No one would care. But then I heard my name. Loud. Clear. Heads turned. People looked at me. Curious. Judging. My cousin stood there with a microphone in her hand, smiling but not kindly. Not warmly. Something else. Cold. "Well, look who decided to show up," she said, her voice echoing through the hall. People laughed softly. I didn't respond. I just looked at her. She stepped closer. Her eyes moved over my dress, my shoes, my simple appearance. I could see it in her face. Disgust. "You really came like this?" she continued. Louder now. Making sure everyone heard. Whispers spread. I stayed silent. Maybe that made it worse. She laughed again. "Let me guess," she said. "You came here for a free meal?" The room reacted. Some people laughed harder this time. I felt their eyes on me. Waiting. Watching. Still I said nothing. And then she said it. "They always do," she added. "People like her." That hit differently. But I didn't react. I didn't move. I didn't speak. And maybe that made her angry. Because the next moment she walked right up to me. Close enough for everyone to see. And with a smile still on her face. She pushed the small gift out of my hands. It fell to the floor. A small sound. But loud enough. Gasps. Then laughter. She even brought something cheap, she said. I looked down at the gift, then back at her. Still silent. And that's when everything shifted. Because from the front of the room a chair moved. Slowly. And someone stood up. The sound of the chair sliding across the floor cut through the laughter. It wasn't loud. But somehow everyone heard it. The room started to quiet down. One by one, people turned toward the front. Conversations stopped. Smiles faded. I didn't move. I didn't turn. But I felt it. Something was changing. Footsteps followed. Slow. Calm. Confident. And then a voice spoke. Is this some kind of joke? It wasn't angry. Not loud. But it carried across the entire hall. Now I turned. A man in a dark suit was walking toward us. Clean. Sharp. Serious. The kind of presence that makes people step aside without thinking. I recognized him. But I didn't react. My cousin frowned. Confused. Who are you? She asked, forcing a small laugh. This is a private event. He didn't answer her right away. He stopped a few steps away from me. And then he looked at me. Not at my dress. Not at the floor. Not at the gift. At me. Like he was making sure. Like he already knew. Then he said my name. Miss Cross. A quiet ripple moved through the crowd. People started whispering. My cousin blinked. Wait, what? She said. Do you know her? Still he didn't look at her. For a moment I thought about stopping it. Saying something. Ending this before it went too far. But then I remembered the laughter. The way the gift hit the floor. The words. People like her. So I said nothing. That was enough. His expression changed. Just slightly. But enough. He let out a slow breath. Then finally turned to my cousin. And for the first time there was something different in his eyes. Not confusion. Not curiosity. Disappointment. Do you have any idea what you just did? He asked. She laughed again. But this time it wasn't as strong. You're overreacting, she said. She's just what? He cut in. The room went quiet again. My cousin crossed her arms. She's nobody, she said. She came here dressed like that and nobody, he repeated softly. A short silence followed. Then he shook his head. No, he said. Not even close. Now people were fully paying attention. Phones were lowering. Conversations had stopped completely. He took a small step forward. The person you just humiliated, he said slowly, clearly, is the founder of Crossline Group. The words landed hard. No one spoke. No one moved. For a second it felt like the room didn't understand. And then it did. You could see it in their faces. Confusion. Shock. Doubt. My cousin stared at him. Then at me. Then back at him. And suddenly she laughed. But this time it sounded wrong. Nervous. That's not funny, she said quickly. Stop joking. I'm not joking. His voice didn't change. Not even a little. She built it from nothing, he continued. Every deal. Every project. That company exists because of her. Now people were turning. Really looking at me. Not the way they did before. Not with judgment. Something else. Something closer to fear. My cousin shook her head. No, she said. No, that's impossible. She pointed at me. She used to have nothing, she said. She couldn't even. Because that was years ago, he said calmly. That hit harder than anything. Because it was true. He turned back to me. Why didn't you say anything? He asked. I looked at him. Then at the crowd. Then back at my cousin. All those faces. All those years. And I gave the only answer that felt right. I didn't need to. Silence. But this time it felt different. Heavy. Real. My cousin's face had changed. The confidence was gone. Completely gone. You're lying, she said. But her voice was weaker now. You have to be. He didn't even look at her. I've seen boardrooms go silent when she walks in, he said. People wait for her to speak. That was it. The shift was complete. The same people who laughed before weren't laughing now. Not even close. My cousin took a step back. Then another. This is ridiculous, she said. You're ruining my wedding. Now he looked at her. Really looked at her. I'm not ruining anything, he said quietly. You did. Those words stayed in the air. Heavy. Final. She stared at him. You can't be serious, she whispered. He didn't hesitate. I am. And then something happened no one expected. He took a step back and said, I can't be part of this. A gasp moved through the room. My cousin grabbed his arm. What are you doing? She said, her voice breaking. This is my wedding. He gently pulled away. This shows who you are, he said. Her hand started shaking. She looked around. Desperate. Say something, she shouted. Someone fix this. Then, she looked at me. And everything changed. Her eyes locked onto mine. Not proud anymore. Not mocking. Scared. Please, she said, her voice shaking. Say something. The room went completely silent again. Hundreds of people watching. Waiting. My aunt stepped forward quickly. This is a misunderstanding, she said, forcing a smile. Emotions are high. Let's just calm down. My uncle nodded. Yes, exactly. No need to make this bigger than it is. But no one believed it. You could feel it. They were trying to fix something that was already broken. Then my cousin took a step closer to me. Closer than before. Too close. Her voice dropped. Soft now. Almost desperate. Just tell him it's nothing, she whispered. Please. Don't ruin this. For a moment I just looked at her. Really looked at her. The same person who laughed. The same person who pushed the gift out of my hands. The same person who said, people like her. Now asking me for help. After all these years. The room felt heavy. My aunt tried again. Sweetheart, she said to me, her tone changing softer now. We're family. We don't need to do this here. Family. That word felt strange. My uncle stepped in. Whatever happened before, we can fix it later, he added. This is her big day. I didn't answer. I just stood there. And then my cousin said it again. Please. Her voice cracked this time. And for the first time, I saw it. Not pride. Not anger. Fear. Real fear. But something inside me stayed calm. Quiet. Clear. I bent down slowly. Picked up the gift from the floor. Brushed off the dust. Held it in my hands for a second. Then I looked at her. Straight into her eyes. This has nothing to do with me, I said. Simple. Calm. Final. They all froze. My aunt blinked. What do you mean? I turned slightly. Looked at the man beside her. This is your decision, I said. Not mine. He nodded slowly. Like he already knew. Like he had already decided. And just like that I stepped back. One step. Then another. Creating distance. Not just from them. From everything. My cousin shook her head. No, you can't do this, she said, tears forming now. You can't just walk away. But I already was. Not fast. Not dramatic. Just calm. My uncle tried one last time. Wait, he said. But I didn't stop. Behind me voices started rising. Confusion. Panic. Arguments. Her voice broke through everything. Don't leave me like this. I paused for half a second. Not enough to turn around. Just enough to hear it clearly. Then I kept walking. Step by step. Toward the exit. No one laughed anymore. No one whispered. No one even moved. It was quiet. Completely quiet. I reached the doors. Placed my hand on the handle. And for a brief moment, I thought about everything. The past. The pain. The nights I had nothing. The days I kept going anyway. And the moment just now. Where everything finally showed. Not because I proved it. But because I didn't need to. I opened the door. Cool air rushed in. And I stepped outside. Alone. But not the same. Behind me the noise slowly came back. Voices. Chaos. A perfect day falling apart. But I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Because some people only see your value when it's too late. And some moments don't need revenge. They speak for themselves. So I walked away quietly. Calm. Just like I stood there before. But this time, I wasn't invisible. I was the truth they couldn't ignore. And the one they would never forget.